Ladies and gentlemen, this is Alex Jones filing a emergency on-the-road report as I'm driving into the office to get ready for today's radio show, 4 to 6 p.m. This is the most intense, important alert I've ever put out. I was sure of this last week. I contacted the proper parties. I have run this intel up a lot of important informed flagpoles. And they all concurred that there is a plan, which we now see is quite evident, to try to steal the election from the American people and Donald J. Trump. Now, I'm the fellow that warned everybody they'd try to steal it in the primary. They did it. I'm the fellow that told people Hillary would try to steal it in the general election. She did, but the tsunami election was so big that they failed. Now we've got them with multiple electors saying that they're not going to go for Trump. And we had Hillary do these recounts through her surrogate minion, Jill Stein, and it only got him hundreds of thousands more votes per state where they did it, showing Hillary had been stealing, proving Trump's point that he had millions of votes that were taken from him with illegals and folks voting in the names of dead people. Now, 3 weeks ago, they come out with this secret intelligence report that Obama talks about and claimed that the Russians were manipulating the election. Now, remember, there was no such thing as election fraud, but we had to have the feds take it over because of the Russian threat. Now, earlier this week, the Washington Post came out and said the Russians hacked the election, but then they were forced to come out and say, we have no evidence for that. We just made it up. They had to retract. That was on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, the Obama administration comes out with some fraction or some rogue element of the CIA and says, ladies and gentlemen, we have evidence, but we can't show it to you, that the Russians basically interfered in the election. And then I called everybody and I said, look, I called them on Friday and I called the folks you can imagine I called. And I said, you watch, they're going to roll out a bunch of leftist CIA people like Bob Baer. Sure enough, he surfaced on Saturday on CNN. And they're going to call for a new election to be held. So everything they're doing is to undermine this landslide because he's appointing a bunch of patriots, a bunch of anti-globalists. They are really, really upset. They're really scared the stock market's up. They're scared he's already acting like commander-in-chief before he even gets into office, bringing all these jobs back. In the interest of time, I won't go over all of it. Carrier and the $50 billion from Japan and the $10 billion on new steel jobs and on and on and on. And confidence already being way up. So they're panicking, but they're arrogant. And it's the CIA that's become a rogue government, even according to JFK. Hell, Eisenhower said that. It was the CIA had only been around a few years whenever Harry Truman said we should have never created it. Under the National Security Act, it basically operates on its own. It's the biggest intelligence agency out there. And it's got a whole bunch of different factions. And Obama has his lapdogs that come and give him his briefings. So we're talking about out of hundreds of thousands of people, he can go pick whoever he wants to listen to in all these little analyst groups. Just like Bush, George W. created the Office of Special Plans inside the Pentagon to make up stuff about WMDs in Iraq. It's the same story. Same you-know-what, just a different rear end it came out of. So they come out, you can't see the report, but oh my gosh, here it is, and now let's have a new election. Now, a lot of people say, oh, Trump has too much support, they won't get away with it. It's not just meant to delegitimize. Here's the big red alert. I'm telling you, this is done to trigger COG and other systems where they can try to get quasi-rogue groups to believe they've got legal standing to try to basically take out Trump the minute he doesn't accept some call for some new commission to look at it and decide whether, say, in 6 months there's got to be new elections. They know there's been a counter coup to try to take the country back. They were afraid that it might be deadlocked and that, Scalia would tie break like 2000 and put Trump in, so he conveniently died. That was a message. But good people in our intelligence agencies, and by the way, the majority of them are awake, and some of the best folks we've got, including inside the CIA, are saying no to all this. And I reached out to some of my contacts. I'm just going to leave it at that. They said this is not the main CIA. And I've checked with 2 contacts on that, and this is not what's happening. And folks have learned I've got my contacts. I mean, I told you 3 weeks ago with me, Mitt Romney. I told you last week it's going to be Rex Tillerson. You now see as Secretary of State. Not blowing smoke here, folks. In fact, I'm in way over my head. In fact, but listen, anybody that thinks they're not in over their head is delusional. So get this out to everybody. Maximum alert. Rogue elements of the CIA are planning to assassinate Trump if they can. They're definitely looking at it right now. This is about the illegitimate government reconstituting outside of government and claiming it's legitimate and coming in. That's the banner they're going to run this under, with leftist contingents inside the bureaucracy and foreign governments, because they didn't spend decades taking this country over to see it taken by a populist revolt. They are pissed, they are scared, and they are running for the hills. But a lot of times people flee forward. I'm Alex Jones with InfoWars.com. Please spread this to everybody you know.